Going straight with the same players, and we're in picks and bans for game 2, and Evelyn banned right out the gate.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting. Now, SBENU did ban Evelyn in the first game, and so it will be the Callista taken out right away by SK Telecom. Are we going to have those 3 jungle bans again, where we have to go on a sort of secondary junglers like Jarvan and Echo? I think we will. I think we will, Barry.
Let's see what SBENU bans here. They're thinking about it.
Yeah, it's taking a long time for them to decide to ban Rek'Sai, which is
not surprising.
Not surprising at all, because they want to get that first pick. Gragas doubt that SKT is going to let them have that one. They have to be a bit concerned about the Rise. Also, so is that going to be the pick that manages to make it through the draft?
I can see SKT leaving up the Rise and then picking something to just kill it over and over again, maybe like with the Maokai and that combo we saw yesterday, the Maokai Nidalee combo or some other version.
I don't think Nidalee's going to be played by Bengi.
Well, yeah.
Just my
a
sense.
hunch. Just a hunch. Well, Gragas is the next ban. But Bengi still plays Lee Sin, so you could just very well go for a Maokai Lee Sin and do the same thing.
Yes, you could. So, finally, what'll it be last here? The Nautilus
Annie.
Or the Annie? Okay, so
interesting.
We actually saw Annie not picked at all in the last game, a bit of a rarity in terms of Korea these days, where it usually goes in the first round of the draft on the red side.
Yeah, a lot of teams valuing that instant stun with the Annie ultimate, and Nautilus will be the last ban for SK Telecom.
So Rise up, Alistar up, so many choices. If I'm SBENU, I'm not picking Rise.
Yeah, they probably, like, SKT would be the team to know how to camp that Rise and just snowball off that top lane.
Yeah, I would be extremely worried about picking Rise, and I would just take the safe pick, which is the Alistar here. Keep it out of Wolf's hands, give you something to dive turrets with, something that if you're caught out, you could break the CC and walk away without dying. I definitely take Alistar if I'm SBENU.
Would SBENU also maybe want to take the Sivir here as well? Well, they're thinking about it. They have 15 seconds to lock in a pick. No hovers.
Yeah, this is definitely a rough choice for them, but I think that is the right one if you want to play conservatively. And that'll be an Azir locked in instantly, not normally a champion that we think of with Faker. Of course, EasyHoon, generally considered the better Azir player between the two.
But Faker's still no slouch on Azir.
No, definitely not a slouch. But is he at EasyHoon Coco levels? We actually haven't seen him play it in a while, so he perhaps has gotten better. But I would say that he is not quite as impressive as either one of those players from what we've seen to date.
Is he going to go on that Fizz again?
I don't think you pick the Fizz right now.
Yeah.
That would be a bit presumptuous.
That would be quite bold of SK Telecom, blind picking both of their solo lanes.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. They're going to play Janna, so it looks like they're going to be playing a disengaged composition. I really wouldn't be surprising to see Tristana come in here, considering SK Telecom's recent picks.
We might also see a Rumble or a Maokai from the top lane, most likely, I would feel.
I would see. It depends on what they want their AD carry to be. We could see Kog'Maw here, because remember that a lot of teams are now starting to play more and more with that Kog'Maw. Again, Samsung played it, KT played it, so this is a champion that is working better as long as you have the peel for it.
And Janna, fantastic at peeling, so.
And Janna Kog'Maw is also very strong in lane against most AD carries, especially against somebody with low range like Sivir. You can get that poke in the 2v2 and really hurt her. So
Lee Sin may be a possible pickup, or will they take the Rise here?
I think that this is an SKT. What they're going to do is just play kite. They know that SBENU wants to take the Rise, and the Rise is going to be locked in. Now, they do have solid engage with the Sivir-Alistar combo.
Now, the question is this Rise a mid lane Rise or a top lane Rise? Because we still don't know exactly what SBENU might be planning here. They might be trying to do something tricky, maybe try to bait a top lane pick here and then counter pick it.
Now, I think right here you just take Maokai and then you take your jungler, whatever that's going to be. Echo would be perfectly fine because you have more ways to prevent people from getting into the mix. Or you could just take Corki and go for this. I was going to say Maokai Echo, last pick your AD carry and see if you can get away with the Kog'Maw.
Yeah. And then if you get a Nunu on top of that for Azure Jung, maybe the Nunu instead of the Echo, if you have a Kog'Maw, that could be very good as well.
Yeah, and you already have the Azir for the Blood Boil.
Ooh. Olaf? Olaf jungle? Bengi has played it in the past.
Yep, it will be, and that's been something that, of course, Fnatic has been playing with increasing frequency. We've seen it in both LCS regions.
Yes.
So, I'm not the biggest fan of picking Olaf this early, but against the Ryze, there's not going to be much that Ryze can do to stop him from just getting on top of Ryze and dealing a bunch of true damage.
So it seems like this is a premeditated counter pick towards just the Ryze, just to get on him with your ultimate up and just wail on him before he can even like do significant enough damage to stop the Olaf.
Yeah, also it explains the early Azir pick, because Azir is a champion that, Olaf, if the wall is in movement, in its knockback phase, Olaf can walk through it. But once the wall stops moving, Olaf can no longer get through the wall, even if he's using Ragnarok. So I think Azir is generally a good pick against jungle Olaf these days. And also, that means he's not going to have to peel with the Olaf edit.
We see the Vel'Koz. Saucon has been playing Vel'Koz in solo queue.
Yeah, and also, I have to point out, Vel'Koz, this is the first professional Vel'Koz pick since, I believe, April of 2014.
Yeah.
So it's been more than a year since anyone in any region professionally has played Vel'Koz.
And even then, it was mainly in support, I think.
Yes.
So, we'll see a Vel'Koz mid with a Ryze top, most likely.
Oh, this is wacky.
I like the Jarvan pick here, though, because if the Olaf gets going, then Jarvan can just ultimate on top of him and flag out. And that'll keep the Olaf bottled inside of his ultimate.
Wow, we have a lot to talk about, Barry. There's also a Mundo in this game now. So Maokai just falls all the way through the draft, and the Mundo comes in. Mundo very good against double AP compositions, and with the Azir wall, they're actually going to have a way to peel for the AD carry since they have Azir and Janna, while Mundo and Olaf go deep into the enemy line. And remember, Vel'Koz and Ryze, they don't have a lot of mobility.
Yeah.
Mundo and Olaf are going to do work against those champions. I don't even know why you would pick Vel'Koz if you saw an Olaf in the enemy team.
Yeah.
You're not even going to be tanky like Ryze is. You're not going to get a Rod of Ages, I don't think.
He might.
No, you would not.
Maybe. He might be going for like some like weird Rylai's Leandry build to go for like a slow burn. I don't know.
Possible. Okay, I'll give you that. Maybe.
Maybe.
But that is still kind of wacky. I mean, obviously it's a very wacky game that we have to deal with right now.
And this is a Smite Teleport Mundo. We have a Cinder Hulk top lane Mundo in this game.
It was only a matter of time, wasn't it, till Mundo, the natural jungler, came into this meta and started running that Smite. We've seen it before, but it hasn't been that popular. Well, guys, it's going to be a wild one. Let's get into game 2. SKT versus SBENU.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
SBENU fans coming out today.
Yep.
Can they make this mid Vel'Koz work? I would be terrified to play this Vel'Koz against a ghosting Olaf, but they apparently have no qualms. Baron standing in the Tri-Brush. Baron going to have to run out of that. He's going to get Rune Prison, but there's no follow-up. Secret has to flash Pulve if they wanted to follow up on that, really.
Not great for your laning phase as Ryze to start with your
W.
Rune Prison.
It's not the worst thing ever, though. It really, It's not going to make that big of a deal.
Well, for the Mundo matchup, you'd want to start your E just because you can constantly just poke harass while CSing at the same time with your E. It's just how you play the Ryze against these melee champions at top lane. But W, not so ideal.
Indeed. Well, he gets some wards down here. They're going to see Bengi. Not with a lot of mana anymore, using up most of that, so he's going to have to probably recall before he actually starts jungling, but it's like that's not going to be the case. Just going to go in with having used his mana on all his axes early, and start jungling right at his blue buff, so he'll solve the problem that way. Still deep wards in from SK Telecom. That same ward formation for SBENU, but this time they're not actually going to be going for that red buff. They did see Bengi lurking around there, and I think they still have some pretty bad memories of what happened in Game 1 when they were collapsed on by SKT.
Yeah, and a machete start for Marin. Interesting.
Well, looks like he's going to be doing some jungling early, actually. Started over there at the Raptors and is now heading over to the Krugs. So, interesting strategy from SKT.
Yeah.
Not sure how seriously I should take this because they're playing against SBENU. So I don't know if they're
just styling.
Yeah, why would you show something that you think is particularly strong in this situation? But Marin just going to get the last cleaver, kill onto the Krugs, and then
head straight into lane, apparently.
I guess, I mean, he has 5 pots, so why not? Burn that last potion and then walk into lane. Ryze is level 2, though, from his own trip through the jungle.
Well, he can CS fairly safely from range with his cleavers.
Yeah, I gotta use up more of his HP to do that.
Well, you get a refund once you get a kill with it, so.
As long as you do it perfectly.
Bengi keeping himself a little bit on the lower side to get that extra attack speed. And threw that axe really far away. Okay.
How does Korean Roloff sound? That's what I want to know. The people want to know what...
I've actually never played with that skin. I don't play a lot of Olaf at all, so I don't know, man. Your guess is as good as mine at this point.
I don't know if Korea really has that archetype, that male archetype.
They don't.
Culturally, so that's why I'm curious.
The name of the skin itself, it's called Broloff in English, but in Korean it's written as a Hyungshi Olaf, which means Mr. Bro Olaf. So it's a little odd. Ooh, Saucin gets good damage on Faker. Activates his passive. And yeah, it's an interesting translation.
We're gonna have to go on YouTube later and listen to the Korean voiceover so we can actually find out what they say. Because now I'm really curious, Barry.
I bet he just says Bro Masio, like literally word for word. I don't even know, man.
That's all right. We will unpack this mystery.
But meanwhile, we're going to see if Bengi makes it to the top lane. The ward just ran out.
Bengi knew the ward just ran out, too, so he's going to come up here. Can he get an axe down? There's a lot of chain slows. He's going to get one. It's not really going to be enough. It's a little bit of harassment right there. Has to back off in the minion wave.
He took a lot of damage from that, too, so no flash. Took a lot of damage. Maybe not that worth it.
Well, he's got... Oh, wow. Faker getting harassed here by Saucin. It's knocked up. And that is one thing that has impressed me about Saucin is the size of this guy's champion pool is actually pretty impressive. He really has been able to play a variety of roles for this SBENU team this season. And
he's laning quite well against Faker's Azir as well on Vel'Koz. So putting down the harass, Faker's out of mana while Saucin still has about a quarter of his mana left. So we'll see if he can... Yeah, he's CSing very well too.
He's here. He's here to make Vel'Koz look good. And there's an eyeball coming out the top, flying away. I didn't even know that skin did that. I've never even seen that skin.
I haven't seen Vel'Koz in a very long time either, so I think the last time I saw is when I got totally rocked in solo queue by support Vel'Koz. Did more damage than the entire team.
Yeah, I believe
Scary.
that. I remember when Zero used to play support Vel'Koz a while back. One of his pocket picks. So I'm thinking it'd be sad that there are no more wolves. They were taken earlier by Catch on the invade. And then everyone just going to recall here. So, SBENU, how do they keep this Ryze and this Vel'Koz safe against the Mundo? Do they even have enough damage to deal with the late game Mundo?
Well, and on top of that, if that Mundo goes a Skirmisher Saber, how are they going to kill him while that buff is up?
You mean when that Mundo goes Skirmisher Saber? They're going double Saber here against this low mobility double AP composition. Sure, they have the Sivir ultimate, but the Ghost with Olaf gonna be pretty difficult to stop. And
on top of that, that little speed boost you get right with his ultimate too.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. So this is definitely a difficult composition to play into an Olaf Mundo combination.
Yeah.
even if you manage to make it in the late game. The only Mundo we've actually seen this season so far has been Lilacs on Incredible Miracle, and
wow, Sawson.
that didn't go well. Actually, you'll be surprised to know.
Yeah, Sawson's ultimate is down. Faker is low and forced to recall, so he's going to lose even more CS. Sawson is going to be up around 10 CS, but Faker decides to stay.
Yeah, I mean, Vel'Koz in the lane hasn't really been the issue with Vel'Koz. I mean, when we talk about why he hasn't been seen, it's because he's really squishy. He's super easy to kill because he doesn't really have a large amount of self-peel.
His ratios aren't that high either.
Yes, his ratios aren't that high. He is utterly reliant on proccing his passive to do damage. That's probably the biggest problem with him, is that he just doesn't scale well, and he doesn't have reliable damage. If you get the passive, yeah, you can do a lot.
But all three of his abilities are skill shots.
Yes, yes. So it becomes really problematic to play the Vel'Koz, especially if you're trying to kite or something like that and get your passive down. It's very hard.
Definitely, and looks like he may be going for either an Athene's or a Morellonomicon first. Smart choice. Get that CDR, sling a lot more spells. And yeah, we have double skirmisher sabers from SK Telecom T1.
It's like a bit of a delay, though, on the Cinder Hulk. Marin just wanting to get as much MR as he can for this rise in the laning phase. Soul going to be delayed a little bit in terms of his itemization. Has to get that tier and then into the Catalyst. Marin actually beating Soul pretty significantly in terms of CS.
Yeah, and also our observer just pointed out this is an ancient coin Alistar rather than the Relic Shield.
It did get buffs recently. Not sure about the coin, but if you're pretty confident that you're not going to be able to get into the wave against a Corki and a Janna, then maybe that does make a bit of a difference. And also Alistar, you know, that gives him yet another engage tool.
Yes.
And he is kind of needed for engage with this composition, and he's going to synergize well with Catch there, that item. I think it's something that can be punished in the laning phase, but if you really want to just play passive and spam your roar and just heal and stand there and just collect passive gold, it could be good.
And doing some damage again.
See
half
that?
of his health gone right there.
You see that passive proc and how much of a chunk it does take out. Faker has to down his last potion.
Faker still hanging in there. Only down. Oh.
Wow, Faker really going in. He's actually on the opposite side. He's just going to die.
Wow, first blood to Sawson.
Yeah, that is not a good sign. Faker coming in, but did not respect where Catch could be on the map right there. Catch just ready to follow up immediately, and the Emperor's Divide can't stop the kill from going down, even though Wolf was already on his way and had used its exhaust.
Yeah, and if Sawson can get ahead a little bit and maybe get his Morellonomicon earlier than Faker's Morellonomicon, then that could spell trouble for Faker in lane.
It could. So SBENU wants to turn this into a dragon. Doesn't seem like there's a lot that SKT could do. They are going to fall behind at the dragon count early. First one will go over. Bang. It's knocked up and tries to get a phosphorus bomb. Just going to do a little bit of poke damage, but they can't commit. Bengi not going to be able to clear that ward as Secret bounces him up, or we can get that final hit, and Faker now back in lane, but a bit of a hard time for SKT. They're down a dragon, down 500 gold now.
And Sawson curving the Q around the minions to hit Faker.
Always a good time with Vel'Koz.
Alright. I'm actually curious to see if Sawson's maxing his Q or his W first. There's different schools of thought on mid lane Vel'Koz. The W gives you much superior wave clear to constantly keep shoving the wave. The Q is much better if you're more about poking and harassing. So I'm actually very curious to see what he's maxing first.
Yeah, well, we keep an eye on it next time he goes through. Now the counter jungling has begun as Soul recalls and Marin goes back to pick up that Gromp buff with the takeaway, and that is, you make it a little bit harder for Soul to lane against him and give him that extra gold. So, you know, the nice thing about having this Mundo into the Rise especially with the machete and the smite, is that Ryze takes so long to ramp up that you actually have a lot of freedom in terms of jungle invading to really, really snowball while Ryze is weak.
Yeah, and you know, even though he's up 20 CS, it's probably the gold difference is probably even a little bit higher than that. What that represents currently, mainly because of the early Hunter's machete as well.
Yeah, that is going to probably be a big difference as we hit maybe the 20-30 minute mark just in terms of gold between these two top laners. And now Faker there in the mid lane, just clearing things out. Saucin continuing to have a small CS advantage, but got that kill. So he does get the Morellonomicon first, and he does have that edge. So Saucin really doing well today against Faker in spite of some adverse conditions in game one, really turning it around with the help of Catch. So the focus on Faker has been helpful to keep SBENU in these games.
Yeah, and he is maxing his W, in fact. He just wants to match Faker's wave clear with his own. So he's going to be a little bit lacking in the damage territory unless he lands both procs of his W and gets a passive as well. So
yeah, that's going to be a little rough to do. Has to have very good placement on that ability.
But that wave clear is pretty nice, gotta say.
I do. I will say it, Barry. That wave clear is pretty nice.
Well, blue buff was handed over. We have Soul with not much mana being aggressed on, but nobody decides to take anything further. So, a bit of a lull now.
Yeah, as usual. I mean, we have a lot of champions that need time to scale in this game. SKT wants to play late when this double AP composition is not going to have answers.
Oh, good damage
to the tanks that they have. And I love how Saucin is so freely just throwing out his ultimate.
And it's on a very low cooldown as well. So, and it's slow, so it's actually, you know, might as well just use it to gain more dominance in lane. You know, build that CS lead. Keep Faker going back home. Like, don't let him roam.
Yeah, well, it's proving quite successful to this point. Faker actually just going back for the Wolves, and he's happy to farm under the turret at this point in time, but it has been a pretty methodical push forward by Saucin. And look at this. Olaf has been waiting in the top lane forever right now. Here we go, and there's Soul. Gets knocked around just a little bit. True damage goes down, but they are not going to be able to. They're actually just going to dive this. Marin, I don't think you can do that. No, they have to back off. Way too dangerous to dive in that situation. Bengi's ult was on its way down. Bengi actually going a little early there. He had been waiting in that river brush for an extended period for Marin just to come back.
Yeah, it seems a little odd to try to gank then because Marin's ultimate was down at the time anyways. And Saucin's ultimate is almost back up, so if Faker decides to stay any longer, he might get destroyed by the Disintegration Ray. And wisely heads back.
Marin again on the jungle invade.
Oh, Faker's still here. If Saucin lands one ability, he's going to go all in on Faker.
Yeah, he's got that flash up. There you go. Faker has to pop out, uses the heal. Yes, he playing with fire, but Saucin getting the necessary chip damage onto the turret. Faker getting very low.
Well played by Saucin, indeed.
Saucin definitely showing us something I didn't know about Vel'Koz today.
Quite the lane bully.
Quite the lane bully. Marin completes a Cinder Hulk in the top side with that back. Doesn't have to use the teleport. Bengi there, just clearing out the minions in the mid lane.
So we have 2 Cinder Hulks on SK Telecom T1. Sivir is definitely going to have to get a Blade of the Ruined King this game.
Yeah, that is certainly going to be a prerequisite to SBENU victory. Secret knocks Bengi out. Catch still there doing the Raptors. Catch does have the Smite. Smite War is won by Bengi.
And I like Saucin's build. He's going to build into that Liandry's Torment to add even more of that the percent health damage to his abilities. And 3 of his 4 abilities, in fact, have some form of disable, so he will get that full 4% burn.
Yeah, if he can actually land him, that's going to be what we have to watch out for here. But so far, he's been doing quite well. SKT has the position onto the Dragon. Do they want to do this? Soul is in a major power drop right here. Has not even finished his Rod of Ages, and he has that tier, so they're just going to try and steal it with the Boomerang Blade. That is not going to work. Bengi securing SK Telecom's first Dragon. We are pretty much identical in terms of gold. Marin just going to get some more hits down onto the turret. Soul. Actually, Marin takes a little bit of damage right there from the turret, but still healing up a Storm.
Well, he sees that Soul is very low on mana, so even if he procs that passive, he can't get that full chain snare anyways because he's out of mana. So Marin just trying to get as much damage onto the turret, like you said. And he might get it if Soul doesn't TP back after his recall.
Well, it's a bit of a race right now between who can get the tower first. Will Sassen be able to take out Faker's turret in the mid lane? Or is Marin going to grab the one of Soul up top? Looks like Soul is going to lose his turret first.
I guess he didn't want to teleport and give Marin the teleport advantage, so at least he can match the teleport for teleport right now. But Sassen just CSing slowly. And oh!
Nice play. Faker gets incredibly low, but it's not going to be enough to kill him. That was
Just
such
barely.
a good play. So he shot the Q into the brush and managed to hit Faker with it. Faker still backing out. The turret goes down, but great play on the side there from Sassen. Faker thought he could play a little bit aggressively. Sassen was kind of zoning himself out right there by coming over, but he looks very strong in the laning phase on this Vel'Koz.
Well played indeed by Sassen. It would have just been the icing, the cherry on top if he had gotten that kill, but they get that turret.
The first time we've seen Vel'Koz in forever, and then
Solo kill
Faker with it. Well, yes, that would be pretty impressive. It's already impressive what he's managed to accomplish.
Yeah, but the big problem though is once laning phase breaks, can SBENU Sonicboom keep both of their carries alive?
And can they do damage against this Mundo that has had a lot of farm already and is now benefiting from so much additional gold via the Skirmisher's Saber? And you also have to, how are you even going to do damage to them when they have two Sabers on your primary carries? It's a very troubling situation for SBENU.
Definitely. Well, we'll see how long SBENU wants to keep this laning phase going, because it looks like it's not going to be in their favor if they break it any later. But mid lane turret is down.
Are they going to go for this? No, just a ward into the brush to deter. Axe goes the other way to make sure catch isn't going to go in. And deep invades on both sides.
Yeah. Well, looks like it's going to be one of those games with a 20-minute laning phase.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of, again, there's a lot of scaling that needs to be done here.
Well, we'll see what the item buys on SBENU Sonicboom are to kind of answer these mega tanks.
Gromp Wars,
Yeah.
easily won by Marin with that smite. Now
Ooh,
Secret taking a huge amount of damage during this Trinity Force power spike. Bang just going to Valk right out the other way, but good poke. Will this mean a possible bottom lane turret? They can absolutely dive onto the Sivir if everybody leaves, and that's what she's going to do. Bengi's there waiting in the tri-brush. And there's a pink ward going down. They're going to just get more wards into the bottom side, so Faker is safe too as he starts to push forward. But that little damage done by Bang after he gets his Trinity Force and his Cutlass means that there's going to be another turret and a gold lead for SKT.
Now, SBENU has to make a move somewhere. They're going to have to make an aggressive play somewhere in order to keep SKT on the back foot, or put them on the back foot.
Yeah, it's just, it's a tough situation to be in for SBENU right now, because you're so scared of moving forward when your back line is vulnerable. They can play safely in the mid lane, but that's about it. This Ryze really in a lot of trouble. He continues to get denied more and more and more by this Mundo.
You know, now that I think about it, rather than the heal, would it have been better to take a ghost on the Vel'Koz?
Yeah, I mean, I think, actually, in this composition, he hasn't had much cause to use the heal yet, because if he picked the Vel'Koz, he must be confident in it in his laning matchup against Azir.
Ooh, SK Telecom going for the Baron. They suspect it.
Yep, the pings are starting to go down right now. Are they going to be able to do it in time? Marin still has his, will have his ultimate back up soon. That's going to be a Baron, though,
Oh, dear.
in exchange for the turret. So SKT says, you guys snuck one last game. It's ours this time. 21-minute Baron.
21 minutes in, and Marin is level 15.
That is absolutely crazy. For
That
him
is
to be that
nuts.
high level right now, but he keeps on farming out his and the enemy jungle.
He has Spirit
He's
Visage.
not even going back. He just tanked an entire Baron in 21 minutes, and he wants to keep on rolling.
His
Now
ultimate
Soul
is
going to come
up.
up his side. There's his ultimate. He still gets locked down. I don't know if you're going to get out of this one, Marin.
Oh.
You're not.
Overconfidence. Paid for his hubris right there.
Yeah, that's actually a very important kill for Soul, who gets it due to the low HP when it's not even really him in his prime yet, still waiting for that Rod of Ages to stack.
Well, Soul pushing up, trying to get some damage, maybe take that top lane turret, and I think SBENU will probably be able to get it here. Now, what I'm really worried about for SBENU is there's going to be most likely a Righteous Glory built by SK Telecom T1 at some point. Looks like Bengi isn't really going into it right now.
Yeah, he just wants the magic resist right now. His team needs an Aegis of the Legion. But here's a teleport turnaround. Bengi wants to go for it. There's going to be so much chain slow. Catch, going to get hit by a cleaver all the same. And here come the axes. They want to turn on to Secret. Secret has his ultimate, but that doesn't help the true damage provided by this Olaf. Catch
Soul
just
has no
wants
mana.
to pop out and flash out of his own ultimate in an attempt to escape. It's not going to work. Cleaver after cleaver landing, and Secret
Here
has
comes
no more
Vel'Koz.
ultimate. Oh, can Vel'Koz get it? Here we
Oh
go. The
my.
big beam over the wall and the turnaround. Sassin on the roam, but what will they lose for this? Tier 2's already down. This game has gotten silly.
This game is very silly.
I like how they're putting damage onto an inhibitor turret with their Baron. Oh, they don't even have the mid lane tower down. Faker's going to fix that problem. So double kill for SBENU, but they lose 2 towers for it.
Yeah. And Sassin starting to hit pretty hard. He has the Liandry's Torment with his Sorcerer's Shoes, so he has pretty good magic penetrations. He will destroy Faker if he can get a combo off on him.
Faker playing pretty far back. Faker actually going for a Zhonya's Hourglass.
I don't blame him if
Super
he gets
early,
caught.
yeah. I mean, he basically just has to ride out the storm of the ultimate from Vel'Koz in this particular instance. So the stats may not be helping him, but the active means at least he may be able to survive the beam.
He has 30 magic penetration at this point. They get a little bit extra gold from that Azir turret there. Now, what is SBENU looking to do?
How do you think Vel'Koz actually learns things about people after he disintegrates them? It's kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, there is this theory about black holes where things go into a black hole and it's disintegrated, but the information is retained on the surface of the black hole, is what I've read. So it could be working on some sort of that kind of principle there. Maybe. And maybe things aren't truly disintegrated into just like, you know, just like burnt ashes and flakes. It could be disintegrating into data. Who knows?
You just transform. He transforms you into data directly.
Into ones and zeros.
You become a binary being.
Yep.
Living inside of Vel'Koz, I guess.
Well, Vel'Koz has learned plenty from Faker this game.
Yeah, you think he wouldn't really need to learn anymore, would you? Isn't there all there is to know?
Well, I guess he hasn't truly disintegrated Faker's Azir yet, so just bits and pieces of him.
Just bits and pieces. Well, the early Baron helping out SKT, but they have had a couple instances of drastic overextension. And, you know, that's allowed Soul to close the CS gap against Marin.
Yeah, and he is up a kill and 2 assists, so I think they are fairly even in gold at this point with those stats as well.
Marin just continually taking the jungle.
Yeah,
has to run around a circle right here. He's a little bit worried about Sassin, but Sassin actually not in the mid lane to collapse on him at the moment.
Soul has mana now, so Marin has to be careful. And I think actually it may be a good idea for the Rise to build a Morellonomicon this game against the Mundo here, so he can at least duel the Mundo through his ultimate.
Yeah, maybe just trying to get that grievous wounds proc down to prevent it from healing up. Yeah, I think you might be right, but they also have the Vel'Koz for that in team fights. But
yes,
again, that does require a lot of focus from the Vel'Koz onto that champion.
But Vel'Koz does so much AoE damage, so maybe not a big concern for SBENU Sonicboom. But meanwhile, there is a needlessly large rod on Sawson, so we'll see what he decides to build that into, whether he's going to go for the flat damage on the Rabadon's death cap, or, which he is, looks like, with the blasting wand.
I love it. Why not? Just go big or go home if you're going to play mid lane Vel'Koz against Faker. Marin has to run away from that, uses his ultimate to make a quick escape down the lane. Still a lot of pressure coming in. We're looking at SKT's possible Dragon number 3 in a minute 45. As they set up a large array of wards across the map, starting to encroach upon SBENU's territory with their ward line.
Well, Sawson trying to get some damage on Bang, does about half of his health. And he missed pretty much 2 of his abilities there too, and that was just with the ultimate.
Well, we know Vel'Koz can do damage if he gets one of those full channel ults off. That's why people used to play him support, was because he didn't need items as long as he had his passive procs just to get off the damage. Problem comes when you have an Olaf and a Mundo on top of you. What exactly are you going to do?
And Olaf has
because you can't use your ult unless you want to take a lot of damage yourself.
Seriously.
You're just going to sit there while Olaf uses reckless swings on top of your head, beating on your dome.
And we have Olaf with that Righteous Glory, like I said. And
actually, that surprises me that he got it before the Aegis.
Yeah. So I think the idea is just to find one person, catch them out, but Soul's on the side. He's at 3 stacks. Quickly activate his passive, but decides not to go for an aggressive engage.
All right, Marin's back right now. No, he's not going to TP, just instead home guarding straight down to the pit. They don't want to fight if they don't have to. SK Telecom just gets a web of wards up in the river. They want to bait this a little bit. It's going to be hard against Sawson, and here we go. Attempt at an engage. Actually, Secret's already used his talisman. It's up right now. Still a lot of poke damage from Bang.
And he gets Bangy. Bangy's knocked up.
And there's the ultimate Ragnarok coming in right now, but they can't actually close the gap. The talisman is going to get them out. Now Bangy turns around. Remember, he can't get out of that right now. Just as the ghost, Bangy's going to go down. Meanwhile, Marin in the back line, and look at the beam, absolutely annihilating Faker. And now this Mundo, he can't do anything. Marin late to the fight. And SBENU takes out 2 for none. They're going to get a tier 2 here, almost certainly. Wolf trying to get away. Soul uses the ultimate for the speed boost.
Range.
Has to flash in the end.
So tier 2 is going to go down. What do you do now if you're SBENU? Do you go for the inhibitor? Do you go for the neutral objectives? Still up on the map, but Marin is going to take away this dragon to even it out to 2 and 2.
3 and 1.
3 and 1. Oh, sorry, 3 and 1.
Yeah, and they're going to sacrifice the inhibitor for it, but with Faker still down, it's questionable whether they would have been able to defend it anyway, so at least they take an objective, but SBENU uses a very poor engage by SK Telecom to take an edge, and now they're going to be able to maybe take this Baron. This might be too much to ask for. They could deny the wards, but they can't go for this Baron. Instead, they're just going to take the crab. But there's a real chance for a counter Baron. Here comes the TP. Secret gets slowed. Secret poked out. And Secret just going to headbutt over the wall by using the blue buff.
But that's going to give up the Baron to SK Telecom T1. SBENU look good, but they're just giving up these objectives too easily right now.
Well, they got the inhibitor, and I like the fact that Marin did very good damage control. And we've seen this from Marin, but what? That was weird.
That's just a visual bug.
Yeah. But we've seen this from Marin before. Remember, he saved the playoffs for SKT in that best of 5 against CJ. When his entire team was down, he thinks really well on his feet. And he's the main shot caller. When he's the only one alive, I agree with him right there. Take the dragon, because you're going to lose the inhibitor. no matter what.
Let's
So
look at this play again.
I mean, he's just not there, though. Bengi going in, he can never find it, and then Catch turns around right at the end so that he bottles up the Olaf so no one
wow,
get it.
Sawson with the flash knock-up into the ultimate.
Yeah, beautiful Vel'Koz play. Why does this guy practice this champion this much?
I mean, maybe he was waiting to pull it out against Faker. That's all he was waiting for.
Reminder that SKT has no kills so far in this game, yet they have had 2 Barons.
Yep. 2 Barons, 3 Dragons.
It's my kind of game.
They're
Barry.
up
I want them to win without killing anybody. All right, Marin gets caught out. Goodbye.
Oh, what?
What?
Secret, are you kidding me?
I don't even have words for that. Marin, I would be grinning ear to ear if I was Marin. I'd be like, what just happened?
Oh my God.
TP onto Faker coming in right now. And Rise going to zip on by with the home guards. Faker in a world of hurt. Goodbye. So another Baron buff eliminated. SBENU's been doing a good job of playing aggressively during these Barons from SKT to slowly peel them off, all the members one by one.
I am so mentally destroyed still by that Alistar headbutt. Just no words. I'm so done with this guy.
You don't like SBENU moments?
Oh, man.
On the plus side, that teleport was much better than we normally see from SBENU.
Yeah, definitely.
And Soul wasn't mentally destroyed by that.
Ooh, gets a solo kill in the mid lane.
SKT played pretty questionably this game. Marin on top of Nuclear, though. Can they actually peel him off? Here comes Bengi. Ragnarok in effect. There's a...
Here comes a tank sandwich.
The tank sandwich.
Both of them coming in at ramming speed.
Always painful. And the exhaust means that Nuclear not going to be able to do much against it.
Yeah. Well,
finally the Aegis is done for Bengi, so they're going to take a little bit less damage now.
And Sawson decided against the Rabadon's Death Cap and went straight into the Void Staff. Smart choice.
He should definitely go Echo here.
Luden's Echo?
That's what I think. Your ratios aren't that good anyway, but the extra AoE damage and poke damage might actually be useful.
And the extra ratio on the Luden's Echo
or
itself.
Zhonya's, because he has to deal with the Olaf, so Zhonya's could be quite powerful.
True, true, true.
Well, yeah, I mean, SKT, they're going to be able to defend this minion wave, and this has turned into a very sloppy game. But at the end of the day, SKT has more ways to win when this inhibitor comes back up because they have dragon stacks. So,
well, SBENU Sonicboom wants to live up to a third of their name, Sonic, by going really, really fast. They have a Talisman Ascension, they have the Sivir Ultimate, they have the Righteous Glory.
That's a lot of really good peel, considering that all they need to do. They played that last team fight so well when Bengi came in because they realized that once the Ragnarok was gone, there wasn't anything else they could do, and then they just turned right on top of him. And I think that's a great way to use the Jarvan ult. It's the dream for them if they can get Mundo and Olaf in the Jarvan ult, because there's no way out for those two champions.
Definitely. Jarvan looking like the smart pickup right now, and Sawson gonna stick around to the left and zone SKT away. Are they looking for the inhibitor as it respawns?
No, they must be. Dragon up in 1 minute, so they also have pressure for the Dragon itself, and SKT just totally in the dark down on that side of the river. Marin in the front line right now, no attempt at a flank. Nuclear actually gets hit by some Corky poke, and they're going to try and disengage with the Talisman. But that's not going to stop Marin. However, the Rune Prison might. Here we go. SKT wants to make a move on this. They don't have enough quite yet. Marin getting a little bit low. There's a double knockup. They caught Bang. Bang has to Valk out. Secret on the side. Bengi trying to get into that backline. Marin is bottled up inside the Cataclysm. Catch flashing out of that, but Soul still the target. Bengi low, Faker low, but Secret's already dead. Soul gonna flash in. He's gonna take out the Corky. Faker gets the Zhonya's, but he is not going to die in the end. Sawson, Faker with a triple kill, playing on the brink right there.
Will he get more?
Yes, Marin is definitely going to get more, but not going to be a cleanup pentakill for Faker. Faker really did well that fight. The Zhonya's bait brought Sawson in, and then they were able to finish him off.
You would think as a Vel'Koz you could wait just a little bit further out.
Yeah.
As Faker comes back up, but he immediately flashed. as soon as it came out of the stasis. And what will SK Telecom look for? Is it Dragon number 4?
Yes, this is definitely the more important objective right now. They need to continue stacking these dragons.
Well, SBENU Sonicboom looked so good. They were up so many kills, and now all of a sudden, SKT has 5.
Yeah, the reason why you don't go for that is you're low, number 1, so you never know what Nuclear is going to be able to do, especially once the Civirol comes back up.
Right.
And also, Baron's up in a minute, so you don't want to get in a situation where they have the inhibitor down, but it just went down, so there's no super minion pressure coming in, and they can contest Baron and Dragon.
Yeah, let's look at this fight again.
Yeah, I mean, Marin does work on the side right here. Great tornado. Hits Sassen up, and he gets a good ult into the choke. Wolf saves this fight, hands down. Good Monsoon there, so he gets a knockback to interrupt the ultimate. Soul decides to go forward. Now Faker gets chunked out pretty severely, but gets the Zonias. And now Sassen's on cooldown. Beautiful flash backwards, has a shield on him from Wolf, and then uses his summoner heal just to turn it around for the triple.
Well played by Faker indeed.
Really, Wolf was the hero of that fight.
Yeah, definitely. That Monsoon. I think the Ultimate Channel was nearly done anyways, but at least stop that last tick, which could have changed things with how low the rest of SKT were looking.
Yeah, Marin now, he has got his nice little 6-item stack right there. Interestingly, not going for that much magic resist, only the Spirit Visage in this build.
Yeah, and rest of SKT taking Baron.
Yep, TB's coming in. TB right on the edge for this, and there's the Baron, goes over, Faker grabs it, but that was Wolf dying nearly immediately. They're just trying to disengage right now. Marin in from the side, trying to get on his soul. There's the smite, but there's too much from SK Telecom right now. Sassen just joining the fight. He's got to get a beam over the wall. Bang is just nailed into the wall after the Rise Rune Prison kept him there.
My.
And Sassen gets the kill to Faker.
Oh.
The double.
Will he get a triple? Nuclear almost dead.
Where's that Mundo ult? It's still about 20 seconds out.
He's gonna escort Nuclear out.
He's going to try and get it even so. Marin has a lot of HP, but there you go, a little bit of a slow, and that's going to be too much. So Marin actually lives while SKT gets the Baron. They now have an 8K gold lead. Sassen was there late, but man, Soul's Rune Prison into that beam on Bang was so hilarious.
The full channel right there on the squishy.
Yeah, and SKT, of course they were going to move forward right there. Sassen was just hit him with a max range beam. You couldn't really be more safe than Bang. He was hugging the wall on the opposite side of
Not
River.
his fault at all.
Which is a great play from Sassen.
Well, Mundo is 6 items. He has a Warmog, which is being boosted by the Cinder Hulk.
Let's take a look at this again. So the way this fight starts, Wolf actually doesn't have a chance to do much besides just blow his Monsoon and immediately die. Now Marin gets low, but has his ultimate available. Look at Sassen on the side, does slow up Marin a little bit. Now they commit to this, but look at that.
Oh my lord.
Bang. Now he had a QSS, but he actually used it early.
Yeah,
right
used
there.
it a little too early.
He used it early, so he got hit by the Rune Prison after.
Well, just well played by Sassen, to be honest. Knowing the limits of his champion.
Well, Soul is getting really scary, and even though SKT has this gold lead, the Rise is rapidly approaching 6 items, has a GA.
Right.
So I would be a little bit concerned if I was SKT, because the amount of damage that's coming out right now was Luden's Echo, by the way, for the Vel'Koz.
And he has another needlessly large rod. Which, what will he buy it into? Is a Zonia's Hourglass or a Rabadon's Death Cap? I would maybe lean towards a Rabadon's Death Cap. Because
if you're really confident that Rise and Jarvan are going to peel for you, then I agree.
Well, I feel like in most of these fights, what's going on is that Soul gets in there, SKT dumps all of their cooldowns on Soul, which leaves Sassen unmolested in the back. So he doesn't even need a Zonia's Hourglass to pump out damage.
It's also that Ketch has been doing a very good job of timing his Jarvan ultimates to deal with the Mundo and the Olaf.
Definitely. So I would say this is a game where you would feel okay in getting a Rabadon's Death Cap over your Zonia's Hourglass.
And there's also a Zeke's Herald for Wolf in this game.
Wow.
They know that with all this AP damage that Bang does need a little bit of lifesteal tanking. Marin is huge.
Yeah. And what will the last item on Rise be?
SKT should absolutely just push this wave, get as much harassment down as possible. And there we go, there's the engage. Two-man knockup. Faker is annihilated. Saucin actually lives. Bang can't finish the kill. Bang is going to get some damage down there, diving the Azir turret, but 2 members live with a sliver of health. I can't believe Saucin lived through that.
Faker died during the knockup. In the 1 or 1.5 seconds that he's knocked up, he destroyed him. He got destroyed. He has GA.
He has GA, but there's still a full health Mundo next to him, and that's going to be the end of Soul. And that was a very poor fight from SBENU.
Oh, jeez. Well, here comes Saucin,
yeah,
the big raid boss.
Baron going to die, but Bang's still alive with full HP and a lot of poke. He's doing a very good job of kiting this. And the question is, can they delay this dragon enough?
I think they can, but SBENU looks like they want to push up the mid wave.
SBENU messed that up so badly. They needed to prevent this 5th dragon. They absolutely had to. Now, they may be able to still do it. Looks like they can. But you don't walk into that pit right there while SKT is still around when you know that you have to get the dragon.
Yeah, but
Bang's
Saucin
still harassing.
Just zoning. Saucin doing good damage.
You just recall and go forward and wait for it.
Oh, dear.
Not going to actually finish it off. They get the dragon, and they're going to get out safe. So SBENU turns it around.
Saucin's knockups have been so good in this game so far, but and then he has to go do that.
This game has been
silly.
Silly. It's a good word for it.
What? Okay, is Nuclear going to run away?
No, Faker's going to get him. Faker has to flash for it, but gets the Sand Soldier to drive the spear through Sivir's heart. And
Marin doing?
he needed that ward, Barry.
He really wanted that ward in there. And he's in SKT's base, phoning the rest of his team in.
Just give him a call.
Yep.
Come right in, guys. It's a free inhibitor.
And I think they may be able to take the Nexus here with the Azir. You have 20 seconds before Saucin comes up.
Marin actually taking a lot of damage from this turret. Now the engage, but Secret has to use his ult very early on, and that is just Catch trying to bottle him up, but he has no more damage. Soul cannot get a kill, and in the end, SK Telecom is going to win this game.
Saucin's back up. Will he get a sick ultimate?
Oh, there it goes. He gets it. He gets one, but he dies.
He got no one.
He got no one. Oh, I thought he actually managed to take somebody out on the top side, but that was just Bang flashing out of it. Mar doesn't even look happy after that game.
I wouldn't be happy if I was SK Telecom T1. You got taken to the brink by a mid-Vel'Koz.
I had hoped that SBENU would win, because that would have been hilarious.
Yes, that would have.
But honestly, SBENU did much better tonight than I would have thought.
Yeah, definitely. That second game looked so crisp at moments, and then there were just these small mistakes that they made repeatedly.
I mean, that's a hard loss for SBENU, but honestly, like, it's not that bad because they did well in game 1. They snuck that Baron, they tried to turn it around, had some decent shot calling. And game 2, man, they were looking pretty smart in terms of their team fighting.
Definitely.
Especially Catch, who he was locking down with the Jarvan. It looked like they were taking steps forward, and they really did push SKT to the limit. But in the end, some of these